Happy Taco Tuesday. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas, but the taco festivities never stop, especially when it's Tuesday on PrizePicks. My name's CJ Curry. I'm back at it again with a couple of picks for today's NBA slate. It's a much smaller slate of games, only 4 games for us to look at, to talk about, and choose from. So we're gonna do our best and try to make some delicious side menu items to go with today's extended taco menu. But first and foremost, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please get subscribed now. Ring that bell, turn on all notifications, and do me a favor. Let's try to go for more than 299.5 likes. Hit that like button for me. Yesterday's video did pretty darn well. We went 4-1 overall. We hit on a couple of different options for Paul George. If you took the over on his points, cash that. If you took the over on the points and rebounds, cash that. If you took the over on Julius Randle's points and assists, you can cash that. And last but not least, Bojan Bogdanovic for more than 12.5 first half points, rebounds, and assists. You can cash that one as well. The only one that we discussed that did not end up working out is Julius Randle over 4.5 assists. But hey, he had all the opportunities in the world. His teammates just didn't respect the coin. I mean, he wide open shots by Josh Hart, missed layups by RJ Barrett. What are you gonna do? We can't get them all right all the time. But 4 out of 5, we'll take that any day of the week and twice on Sunday. So without further ado, guys, if you're not playing on PrizePicks yet, it's a great time to get signed up. Promo code Curry still getting you that 100% instant deposit match the first time you put any money in on PrizePicks. They're going to match you dollar for dollar all the way up to $100, making your first entry on PrizePicks completely risk-free and on the house. Take advantage, use the link that I left down in the description below, and use that code Curry, to take advantage of that offer. Taking a look, it's the 12 days of Picksmas right here, guys. They're still running different promos from now all the way up until Christmas Day. And today's promo, as I mentioned before, is a Taco Tuesday, but an extended version of a Taco Tuesday. Normally on Taco Tuesday, we get about 3 discounted player projections. Today, we're supposed to be getting a total of 5 discounted player projections from across different sports. As I mentioned, there's only like 4 NBA games, so we got a lot of hockey, so I expect to see some NHL discounts on the board, but the reward is discounted projections, which will be available throughout the day. Keep your eyes on the board. What can I include in my entry? Only 1 discounted square can be used in an entry. You may combine demons and goblins, though, with a taco discount, which is kind of cool. How many tacos can you play? You can play all of them, all 5 of them. Each taco can be played to the promo limit. So your promo limit's typically around $25. It can vary sometimes depending on who you are from person to person, but for the most part, keep your eyes peeled for 5 delicious discounted taco projections. All right, so what are we looking at on PrizePicks today? Well, as I mentioned, it's just a small 4-game slate, not a lot of options, not a lot of choices, but I think I found some that are backed by pretty strong historical hit rates, that are backed by pretty strong seasonal hit rates, that are backed by solid projections from some projection models, and that are also backed by the odds out on the sports books. In other words, the juice is in our favor on both of these picks here. So let's talk about the first one. It's Kevin Durant of the Phoenix Suns. He's going to be taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. And yes, for my narrative lovers out there, we talked about a couple of guys from yesterday's video where some narratives, some storylines were involved there. You had Paul George returning to Indiana, where he always seems to ball out and play really well in front of the Indiana Pacers crowd, right? And then you have the same situation with Julius Randle going back to LA, the team that drafted him, the Lakers, and he ended up having a pretty solid game overall as well. Well, you got something similar here with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's taking on the Portland Trail Blazers, and we go back to the draft class where Kevin Durant was taken 2nd overall to the Seattle Supersonics at the time. Yeah, we're going way, way back. The number 1 overall pick was Greg Oden. Greg Oden was drafted by the Portland Trail Blazers, and it just seems like every time Kevin Durant plays the Portland Trail Blazers that he kicks their ass, all right? He plays pretty well against Portland, historically speaking. What am I talking about? Well, I could show you what I'm talking about here. We've got a site here. It's called StatMuse, and you can kind of take a peek at some of the games that Kevin Durant has put up historically against the Portland Trail Blazers. I'm talking about 31 points, 31, 35, 38, 28, 32, 25, 26, 32, 40, 50. I don't want to go back too far, but you kind of get the point. He plays really well against the Portland Trailblazers. He's actually averaging about 28.5 points per game against Portland when playing in Portland, and that just happens to be where his line is at today on PrizePicks at exactly 28.5 points per game. But I don't want to stop there. I want to make sure this is a plus EV play. And how do we do that? Well, you can go and you can sign up for a tool like the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Guys, they just made a promo code for me, which will allow you to get 25% off of your very first month of the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, which is a pretty significant savings. I think it's around $17 and some change or something like that. So if you're interested in trying this tool out, it's a great time to do so. This is one of the must-have tools, especially if you're playing on sites like PrizePicks, Underdog, etc. So take advantage, use code Curry. There's a link down in the description for you to get started on the Daily Grind Fantasy journey. But what we want to do here is just type in Kevin Durant's name on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. When we do that, you can see that at 28.5 points, he is a betting favorite to go over. 53% chance, not a 100% chance. This isn't a lock or a guarantee. There's no such thing in sports betting, but 53% is basically saying if we were to flip a quarter, more often than not, it'll land on one side than the other, but just by a little bit. You know what I'm saying? 53 times it'll land on heads, but 47 times it'll land on tails. Now, that ain't much of a difference, but it is an edge because when the lines makers set these lines for props like Kevin Durant's points, they try to set it at a 50-50. They want it to be a real coin flip, 50-50 proposition. Well, in this case, we're getting about a 3% edge and advantage. And over time, the idea behind plus EV betting is that these advantages, as small as they might seem on the surface, will add up and you'll be a more profitable bettor in the long run. But just taking a look at this one, like I said, it's got a 53% chance to hit. And then you look at the different sports books, guys, 29.5 points is where he's already listed at on sites like Pinnacle, one of the sharpest sports books in all the land. FanDuel has him at 29.5. BetMGM and Caesars have him at 29.5, and so does Bet Online. So the only book that has him lower than 29.5 is DraftKings. They got him at 28.5, but even at 28.5, he is a betting favorite to go over, minus 135 odds. So I'm just saying this is probably going to go from 28.5 to 29 or potentially to 29.5. It's going to get bumped up here pretty soon because it is a plus EV play and it's just mispriced. When you take a look at all the other sports books, it's a whole point lower, and usually PrizePicks will then jump in line, and then they'll have their line set at 29 or 29.5 points like the rest of these books here. So we kind of know what we're getting ourselves into with Kevin Durant. Now, taking a look at some of the hit rates here, we go over to a site like props.cash. What makes props.cash fantastic is it's going to show you all the game logs for Kevin Durant this season at 28.5 points and just how many times he's actually hit the over. And in this case, 13 out of 22 games, it's a 59% hit rate, and he's averaging a nice 30.6 point per game average, which is over 2 points higher than where his line is set today at 28.5. Now, we know that Bradley Beal is going to be out. One thing that you could do with this tool is you could go down here and you can remove certain players. So we could see games without Bradley Beal, which, it doesn't really change things a whole lot, but he now is at 11 out of 17, a 65% hit rate, and he's at 31 points per game, 30.9 to be exact. Now, where things kind of get sweet here with Kevin Durant is when you take a look at what he's done on the road versus home. That's right, there's some little thing called splits. You can look at his home splits versus his road splits. So let's look at what he does when he's playing in Phoenix. 4 for 9, 44% hit rate, just 28.8 points per game. It's all right, it's decent. But when you change the splits from home to away, which is going to be the case here, he's going to be in Portland today. Look at what happens here. 7 out of 8 times playing on the road this season without Bradley Beal, he has gone over 28.5 points per game. That's an 88% hit rate, a significantly higher hit rate, and his points per game average goes all the way up to 33.4 on the road this season. So as far as hit rates go, Kevin Durant on the road, that's when you want to take him. That's the best time to take him. And again, that's going to be the situation today. He's going to be playing against Portland, a team that he typically beats up on, and he's going to be facing them on the road. So taking a look at a projection here to kind of wrap this up, we're going to go over to Fantasy Labs, Action Labs. It's a third-party site, one that you typically have to pay for, but because me and you are homies, we get to look at it for free here. A projection on Kevin Durant's points. And he is projected for exactly 30 points, which puts him over 28.5 points by 1.5 points. Pretty significant difference there. So very good projection for Kevin Durant. I do expect him to have a good game. How good of a game? Well, we don't know. We're kind of guessing, right? By using data, projections, hit rates, game logs, etc. But for me, I would definitely lean toward the more on Kevin Durant at 28.5 points versus Portland. And hopefully he has just another knockout performance. So going to our second pick, Drew Holiday of the Boston Celtics. He's sitting at 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, there's a little bit of news here from this game. Kristaps Porzingis, who has been kind of iffy to play. It looks like he is going to play. It looks like they're going to have their full complement of players. So that's Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kristaps Porzingis. Now, this becomes a very interesting pick when you consider all of those players playing. Now, here's what I've done with Props.cash. I went ahead and took liberties here. I added Kristaps Porzingis into the mix, Jason Tatum into the mix, Jaylen Brown into the mix, and Derek White into the mix. So you're looking at games where all 5 of those players have played together. And when you look at those games, there's a total of 15 of them. Drew Holiday's only gone over this line, 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists in 5 out of 15 games. That's a 33% hit rate, which is not very good when you're thinking about taking the over on a particular player prop. That's a 22.3 PRA average. But like Kevin Durant, when you take a look at the splits on a prop like this, things become even more interesting when you get Drew Holiday on the road. And in this case, he's played a total of 5 games on the road with White, Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis. And he's only went over once, and that was against the Toronto Raptors with 27 points, rebounds, and assists in that game. So that's a 1 out of 5 hit rate, 20%, and he's averaging just 20 points, rebounds, and assists in those games on the road. So he's not a very good road performer, so to speak. All right, so things are looking pretty decent here for Drew Holiday under 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. But let's go take a look and see, is it a plus EV play? And, if you know me, all I play is plus EV plays. And when we take a look at all the Drew Holiday props on the board today, well, this one is the top plus EV play on the board as of this hour, which is about 2:55 a.m. Eastern time. So at 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists, you're getting a little bit more than a 53.5% chance that Drew Holiday is going to stay under his line of 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And when you go and take a look at where he's at on all these other sports books, again, Pinnacle, one of the best sports books, if not the best, sharpest sports book in all the land, has him priced at 22.5 PRA, a whole point lower than where he's at on PrizePicks right now. DraftKings, same situation, 22.5. BetMGM and Caesars, 22.5. BetOnline, 22.5. The only one that has him at 23.5 is FanDuel. And again, you'll typically see a sports book like FanDuel get in line with all the other ones, right? If everybody else has him at 22.5, but PrizePicks and FanDuel have him at 23.5, they're going to start looking around and say, hey, maybe we have him a little bit too high. Maybe we should get in line with the rest of these sports books here and price him appropriately at 22.5 PRA. So that's kind of what you're doing with a tool like the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. You're hunting for value. You're hunting for value, and eventually you will be a more profitable bettor by finding these little early edges and little bits of value here and there. So taking a look at a projection, we're going back over here to Fantasy Labs, Action Labs, and when we punch in Drew Holiday's name, we got a nice little projection of 21.4 points, rebounds, and assists, which puts him under 23.5 by more than 2. So a pretty significant edge or advantage. Projection versus line. Again, projections are just simply that. They're a prediction of what a potential outcome could be for a player in a given matchup, all right? They're not a guarantee. Nothing's promised. Nothing's guaranteed. I can't harp on that and emphasize that enough. But for me, Drew Holiday under 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists would be the way to go. I think all data and all signs point to taking the under, and you should do so as well. I think you should consider taking the under there on Drew Holiday. But listen, that's just my take. That's just my findings, my data. What do you guys think? I mean, do you agree with what you've seen with your own 2 eyeballs? Let me know down in the comment section below. Which of these picks are you liking more? Is there a pick that maybe we haven't talked about that you're really liking? I love to get your feedback. And if you're looking for a kick butt community, guys, Dub Club is the way. For only $20 a month, you can help support content here on YouTube that's free. And you can get access to a really cool VIP community where we're sending out picks, sharing our favorite research, insights, stats, and all that stuff daily. 67 cents per day. Link down in the description below, guys. I'd love to have you as a part of the community. Let's keep up the good work here. The work's been done. It's up to the players now to go play, and hopefully they do just that and we cash out today. Keep your entry size at about 1 to 5% of your entire bankroll. Don't nuke anything. It's a long road ahead. There's sports to bet on each and every day. Let's play the long game. Let's pace ourselves, all right? Good luck, and we'll catch you in the next video, guys. Peace.